guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Thursday, and we are having our second installment of our kit class for August of 2025. So today we are going to be doing the Bunch of Thanks kit, kind of a little bit of a different kit. It's more of a fun fold, I think they're calling it, which, but it's a bouquet. I don't know. It's fun. I'm excited. We did cards on Monday as well, but these are a little more, they're a little more. The kit that we did on Monday, we didn't have any stamping and very, very beautiful laser elements were the highlight of that kit. But this kit is going to be quite different. And then we still have one more kit. So there was a bonus kit in August. And that is going to be on Monday. So next week, Monday, we are going to be having a bonus kit class. And that's going to be garland. So very, very pretty garland kit for autumn. It's called something with harvest garland or something like that. So that one's cool. And then of course next week we are also going to have our paper pumpkin kit, which that's going to actually come on Wednesday instead of Thursday. So hot off the press. I haven't even rescheduled it in the system yet, but next week paper pumpkin will be on Wednesday. So thank you to everyone who has joined us already. I was not only on time, but I was on time and didn't have any technical issues. So that's when we really are just hitting it out of the park. We were diligently preparing beforehand, and then I will get back to that after kit class for the $1 million sales party. So very exciting. Christine hit her $1 million in sales just about a week ago, a little more than a week ago. So we are celebrating as we should. Very, very exciting. So we're going to be celebrating on Sunday with a party. So we're getting all the little details in line. So very exciting. Yeah. Anyways, so I will go ahead and flip the screen down. This one was wrapped in cellophane. So I got that off. And good morning to everyone. Crazy Cat Lady, Mary Novak, Tyra, Suzanne, and thank you so much, Tyra, for liking and sharing. If anyone else would be so kind as to do that, we so very much appreciate it. But, yep, I figured this one had stamping with it because the other one didn't. I was, laying in bed thinking about this because that's what we do when we're stampers. And I had seen what the cards were going to look like, but I hadn't actually, looked into what was in the kit or what it all included. So I wasn't sure, but I figured we wouldn't have two kits that didn't have stamping in 1 month. And lo and behold, that is the case. Okay, so we have Mossy Meadow for our Stampin' Spot this month. And I also brought in my clear box. Here are our stamps. We'll look at those in just a second. Definitely don't want to use our ribbon scissor for this. Okay. All right, so Bunch of Thanks. So this is all text. So very grateful. Thanks a bunch. Thank you to, from, and your for your love and support. We've got the variety of different languages that this kit is available in. And then, wow. Okay, so there are two different bunches of flowers. The envelopes have printing on them. It looks like we've got 4 and 4. So we've got 2 different designs and 4 each of them. We have mini dimensionals as well as a Stampin' block, and then we've got some baker's twine. I am likely going to keep these on here until they're stamped. Hello, Joanne. Thank you so much for joining. We have 2 different kinds. We have the rounded rectangle and then a squared off with a rounded edge. So 2 different kinds there. And then 1 sheet of die cuts. So very pretty bright flowers on this kit. So while I am doing this, so the kit components, we have supplies for 8 cards and 8 envelopes. It also includes a photopolymer stamp set, the block, the ink, and the embellishments. And the adhesives and ribbon. Coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors. So these are the colors that we have in these beautiful flowers. We have Bubble Bath, Coastal Cabana, Crumb Cake, Daffodil Delight, Early Espresso, Old Olive, Mossy Meadow, and Mossy Meadow is the color of the spot that we got, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. So that's the colors that we are using this month. This blue sprig here gets a little thin and it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. So be careful when you're punching that one out that you're not accidentally bending up that flower. That one came out much easier. All right, so there we have it. Okay, so here are our supplies. We've got, okay, so thanks a bunch. Oh, okay, so I am going to do the stamping. Yes, we have 2 different bouquets, but they are being stamped. Oh, correction. They are being stamped 2 different ways. So we're going to do this one first. So the bouquet with the blue sprig coming off of it. So colorful and so pretty. I agree, and Tyra, you are correct. I love the colors in the kit. They are so complimentary. So, so pretty. I love it. So the one with the prominent blue sprigs coming off of it, this is a So Very Grateful and Thank You. Now, of course, if you don't stamp them ahead of time, you can make them whatever you want. The other one is going to be Thanks a Bunch for your love and support. Now, you could intermix the sentiments on any of these, but really they both end up being thank you cards. So if you like one more than the other, you can choose whichever you prefer. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and get the stamping out of the way. So that means I'm starting with the thank you. So the photopolymer stamp that just says thank you, that's the one I'm going to do first. And I'm stamping that on the inside of the card base that has the prominent blue sprig. And the inside happens to be this flap right over here. So we'll go ahead and get that inked up. I did get some on my thumb, which is a-okay, but I do want to get that off so I don't accidentally put it on there. And I personally like to get the stamping of all of the projects done right away, so that I get all of the mess out of the way right away, but also then if I want to kind of box them back up to come back to later, it's a nice, quick, easy opportunity to get making cards. if all of the hard work is out of the way. Okay, so the inside of those are done. That means that stamp is done. We'll get that cleaned up. And put away. And then the inside of the other is for your love and support. So we will grab that stamp next. Now this stamp is longer than the fold. And all that means is, so it looks like it just fits, but I'm going to do it at a diagonal because I don't want it to be off. So we are going to tuck this beneath the little orange rose. And it fits so very perfectly in there. For your love and support. Now you are stamping over a score line. So you may notice a little rumpling in your stamped image, but for the most part, especially with those two that I did already, not an issue for me. Okay, and then one last one. Okay. Then we have yet another stamp to clean up. I love the stamps in this set. So they are just sentiments, but very beautiful script. Good type matching. I love it. Okay, so then we are going to go to these, and we have Thanks a Bunch. That's going to go on the rounded piece, so I'll do that one next. Very clever stamp designer. So not only are they talented in what they do, obviously, you know, the matching of the fonts, the lettering, the kerning, all of that good stuff looks really good. But moreover, I have always appreciated how the stamps are designed. As in, this is a floral kit, and the sentiment says, thanks a bunch. Like, it's just so cheeky and fun. I love it. Okay, so we have 4 cards. They often, if not always, include a bonus in case you don't stamp the best and want to have another shot. So we do have 5 of them here, just for kicks and giggles. Just for kicks and giggles and the fact that I just messed one up, we will do the 5th one. Now the pressure's on, because now I don't have an extra. And look at that. Okay, so that one's my junk one. Move this off to the side, get the stamp cleaned up, and then the last stamp that we have to do is So Very Grateful. And that will go on the rectangle with the rounded corners. Hello, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us. So Very Grateful. If you notice, I've been bringing in this envelope. I like to get the stickiness off of a brand new stamp. Usually I would use a piece of scrap paper. I just don't have any scrap paper readily accessible to me. And stamping the stickiness off doesn't necessarily leave back any residue or anything like that. So I feel pretty confident doing that. Okay, so we are off to the races with So Very Grateful. Okay, excellent. Now, all of the stamping is done, which means we are just going to go into production mode to make our beautiful cards. This kit has been, actually not just this kit, the Stampin' Up kits have been so good. Very well designed, sometimes simple, not simple in a bad way, but you know, for those of us that want to make something beautiful but don't have the time, energy, or in some people's case, maybe they don't believe they have the skill or talent to do it, it's awesome to still be able to participate in this hobby, whether any of those are barriers to why you think you shouldn't or can't or wouldn't be a card maker. All right, so I am going to punch out just one of each of these because for today's class we will make just one of each of the designs of cards. So we've got Thanks a Bunch, which is going with the For Your Love and Support. And then the So Very Grateful is going with the one that says thank you. Move all of the extras off to the side where I have my handy dandy empty box. Can move these things out of the way. I'm trying to keep my space clean. It's always harder than it sounds. Okay, then we need 2 cuts of 14 inches of ribbon. So the grid space on our glass mat is 13 inches wide, so we can just estimate an extra inch on the end here. Okay. Hello, Randy. Thank you so much for joining us from Southwest Michigan. All right, now I think we have all the supplies that we need. The first one that we are going to do is the Thanks a Bunch card. So I'll move these supplies off to the side. Okay, so stamping is done. That is step number 1. Step number 2, we are going to be grabbing our Thanks a Bunch tag. We're also going to grab our dimensionals. I am down to just the sides of the dimensionals. And then we are going to okay, so on the back of this guy, we're going to flip it over so that the rounded edge is straight up. Then we're going to take our dimensionals. We're going to nest them in the corner. So we've got 2 in the bottom right corner. Then we are going to take our card base and we are going to fold up, kind of wrapping the bouquet in this paper wrap. So we'll fold this little triangle on the corner. Very important to bring in your bone folder and burnish that down because it is a small little piece. Then we are going to flip this over and attach it right about here. So that's why we wanted very particular placement of those dimensionals. Okay, then we are going to fold back this part of the bouquet. Again, we're going to use our bone folder and burnish that down. At the same time, we're going to flip over our flower. So we've got the hanging pieces. So we've got some leaves here, and this is a orange rose that's hanging down. And the dimensionals are going to go on this sprig and this leaf. Peel those off, and then this is going to nest over. So now I'm trying to figure out, these dimensionals are going to hit this portion. So we want to make sure that that is being achieved. We don't want it hanging over. And then we are lightly covering the sentiment that we just put down, and then the rest is just kind of hanging off. So I'm going to flip over. I can see that I got my dimensionals under. I actually put it farther down than I necessarily needed to. Oh, I can see here. Okay, didn't recognize this until this exact moment. So I'm going to try to lift this up. Not the biggest deal, but what you're doing with this flower is actually covering these parts. Now, I can tell here that my dimensionals are, and like I said, I was using some kind of the edges and some scraps. So this one is a little too high. It's peeking out. So I'll scrape that one off, grab a different one. And also, if your flowers didn't necessarily line up like that, that is totally a-okay. But I discovered that that was what we were trying to accomplish, so I wanted to show that to you. Okay, so we're going to be hovering over the duplicate, and now you'll see here that I don't have any dimensional peeking out. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. All right, hello Sherry, thank you so much for joining. And then the last step is taking that 14 inches of twine. It's going to go around the bottom here, and it's going to tie the card together. So we're going to just put a knot. And then we're going to do our best to tie a bow, which is so very challenging. That's why we're doing our best. Okay. Then if yours wasn't completely tight, like mine wasn't, you can lift it up so that it tightens up. It's so cute. I love it. Go ahead and trim the uneven tail. And there you have it. What a beautiful card. I'm just going to shimmy this down just to show you. Then we've got, thanks a bunch for your love and support. I love it. That is so cute. Okay, then you can just shimmy that back on. And yes, I love it. So simple yet adorable. I love it. Hello, Sean. Good morning to you as well. All right, we are halfway done, which means we are just basically repeating the steps. We have our stamping done, which is step number 1. And then we're coming back to, again, so very grateful. We are going to flip it. How do I explain this? We're going to flip it over, and then we're going to rotate it counterclockwise. That's going to get our adhesive on the correct portion that we are aiming for. So we'll cut 2 little pieces, or in your case, you're going to use the dimensionals that were included in the kit. But we'll put in the bottom right-hand corner 2 dimensionals. Take the backing off, and then step number 1 is to fold over the small triangle and get it stuck to your finger. Important step. Use your bone folder and then flip it over and tuck it about here-ish. When we have important directional adhesive, I like to always double check and make sure that it's not hanging out or getting stuck somewhere that we don't want it, just to make sure. Okay, then we will fold the second flap over, bring our bone folder back in and burnish that edge. Okay, so the flowers are going to flip over this way. We're going to have the blue guy shooting out to the left, and then we are going to be placing these dimensionals on this flower hanging down, and then on the space between this flower and leaf. So I presume we've got the same thing going here, where we are going to be just overlaying this on top of the duplicate flowers. Very cool. Glad I discovered that. Okay, we did better this time. We didn't have any hanging over where we didn't want it. Last but certainly not least, we are going to yet again attempt a bow. Oh, that's our, I was trying to put that in the wrong spot. Whoopsies. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that on there and do our best to make a pretty bow. Tying bows make you feel like you never have enough hands. All right, that'll just about do. Again, pro tip, just shimmy the ribbon up higher so that it tightens up. And then you can pull the tail down and then trim the excess. All right, I agree, Tyra. Very clever design. Okay, so we'll shimmy that guy off. So very grateful. Thank you. All right, well, that was pretty fun. So here are the 2 cards. Okay, I spoke too soon. I was like, where did I put the other one? Here are the 2 different bouquets. August 2025, this kit is called Thanks a Bunch. We've got coordinating envelopes as well. Just standard A2 envelopes, so you can mail them like normal, which is super great. What do you think? Do you love them? Tyra does. So pretty. I agree. As we talked about earlier, I am very much in love with the colors. Very, very complimentary. Let's look back here. Okay, so we have Bubble Bath, that would be the pink. Coastal Cabana would be the blue. Crumb Cake we've got on the wrapping. So Daffodil Delight is the yellow. Love that. Early Espresso must be all the centers of the flowers. Old Olive and Mossy Meadow for the greenery. Strawberry Slush. Oh, that's a strawberry slush flower then. That one to me might be Poppy Parade, but Strawberry Slush and then Timid Tiger for the orange. Very, very pretty. Good morning, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us. Catching the tail end, but here are our cards that we just finished making. So, I am so glad that you joined me this morning making these cards. They are wonderful. I love them. You get 8 of them in this kit. Not too much for stamping, not too difficult on the instructions, which is awesome. I love cards that are unique and special, but aren't going to kind of be too difficult. Oh, I was like, is there any other nicer way I could say that? But it's all good. So, alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining. I look forward to crafting with you again next week. And I hope you have a wonderful day and weekend ahead. Sending lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs your way.